OP makes Karen literally go insane as she tries to sick the HOA on him, and then OP costs the HOA over 10 grand. Also, all my videos are in podcast form, so search for the Austin Stories podcast or check out the video description for a link to a crazy HOA story. This is going to be a nasty HOA Karen story. If you're in your car, I hope you're buckled up. It's called Entitled Neighbor Complains About Our Noise, Ends Up Losing $8,000, posted by Brightglaive. Sometime around 2002, my wife and I moved into an 1,100 square foot condominium with 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. We were very fortunate to get this condominium as a second owner, and we paid only $114,000, which was $6 grand more than the original price. Our condo was on the 3rd floor, and all of the rooms were carpeted throughout the condo, with only one small 4x4 square of linoleum inside the front door to the outside breezeway. This will become important later, and yes, even the bathrooms, kitchen, and the dining room were carpeted. The front door opened to a large open space with vaulted ceilings, with the great room to the left and the dining room and kitchen to the right. The kitchen area was separated from the great room with a wall that had a cutout over the kitchen sink, and we had a long hallway directly going out of the great room to all of the bedrooms and straight in front of the front door. We got to know some of the neighbors and got along well with most of them. The neighbors directly below us were a young couple that were attending university, and they were nice and cordial with us. Shortly after they graduated, they rented out their condo to her brother and his college friends. The brother was a decent guy, and we mostly had no problems, except for one of his birthdays, where their music and boisterous conversations and happy birthdays and so on kept us up until 4:30 a.m. in the morning. My wife and I returned the favor by blasting our music the very next morning at 8 a.m. But we talked a couple weeks later and all had a laugh about it, and we never had any real problems after that. Between 2004 and 2006, we changed all the flooring in the kitchen and the dining room to ceramic tile, including the area in front of the front door, to avoid having to pay for carpet cleaning in the dining or kitchen area due to spills or our young daughter throwing food on the floor from her high chair. In 2007, our cordial neighbors sold their condo to an older newlywed couple, and they were like late 20s to early 30s. Now, if anyone has lived in between a 1st and 3rd floor condo or apartment, you will know that it is the worst place to be if you expect silence. With kids or music, you'll always have some noise that filters through the floor or the ceiling. I don't know what they were thinking or expecting when they moved in there. I was blissfully unaware that the condo had been sold, until one day, about a month later, I brought home a powered subwoofer and hooked it up to my home theater sound system. This was around 6 p.m. in the evening. I promptly put on an action flick with some big explosions and sat down to enjoy the new and improved immersive sound. After a little bit of gunfire and 2 explosions, I hear the doorbell, ding dong. I get up and immediately hear ding dong again. I walk the 5 feet to my front door and open it to see my entitled neighbor, I'll call her Karen, standing on my doorstep. I say, "Hi, can I help you?" The very agitated Karen says, "My husband and I are trying to enjoy a quiet and peaceful dinner. Can you please turn down whatever show you are watching? We can hear everything that's going on." "Oh, sure, I'm sorry about that." She turned around and walked away. I closed the door, turned the subwoofer down a ways and the main volume down a bit, and thought nothing of it. Shortly after the next round of gunfire and explosions, I hear the ding dong and then some rapid fire knocking at my door. I pause my movie and then I open the door to see Karen again. Hi, what can I do for you?" "We still can hear everything from your show. You need to turn it down now." At this point, I was a little fed up with her crap and decided to call her on it. "Okay, so you say that you can hear everything. Can you please give me some of the last dialogue that you heard?" "I don't know. I just know that you are watching X show." By the way, she was totally wrong. "No, actually, I'm watching Y movie, and here are the last 3 lines of dialogue." And I give her those lines. "It seems you can't hear my movie as well as you're claiming." Karen, with blazing eyes and red in the face, I don't care. It's too loud. You need to turn it down. Actually, noise ordinance says I don't have to turn it down until 10 p.m. Karen, getting huffy, replies, fine, I guess my husband and I will have to go out to eat to get some peace and quiet. Me in my most cheerful voice and waving, hey, have a good night. I then turned my subwoofer up a little and the main volume back up to its previous level, and then I enjoyed the rest of my movie. The neighbors did end up going out that night for dinner or whatever. At our next HOA meeting, Karen stands up and complains long and loud about the noise, how she can hear kids jumping on the carpeted floor, we had a 4-year-old, and crying, we had a new baby, and hear us walking up and down our hallway, and hear our music and movies and TV shows, and how the Hispanic neighbors on the first floor play their music on Saturday morning so loud that they can't sleep in, and they argue so loud that they can hear every word, and blah blah blah. Ad nauseum. This went on for 6 months. Every time she complained, the HOA told her, well, if it's between the hours of 8 a.m. and 10 p.m., we can do nothing. If it's after 10 p.m. and before 8 a.m., you can call the police. And then the HOA would send out a letter by U.S. mail asking everyone to be cognizant of their neighbors and laying out the local city noise ordinance. I finally stopped attending the HOA meetings after month 3 of the same bullcrap. She never failed to visit at least once or twice in the week after these notices, and twice she taped them to my door. I also learned during this time that they were members of our church and had actually been assigned to visit us each month, and they never did. Cue the pro revenge. Around the 6 to 7 month mark of her constant complaints and harassment, and even a couple of visits from some very apologetic police officers after 11 p.m. at night, which they said they could hear nothing outside of my condo door, we decided to upgrade our flooring. We knew this would inflame our entitled neighbor, but we didn't care as we were tired of the constant stream of complaints from them. We chose to extend the entry tile all the way from the front door down the long hallway to the master bedroom door, and we wanted to tile the bathrooms as well. We also went with a light coffee-colored bamboo hardwood in our great room. So, demolition first. We tore out the carpet and the tack strips and pried the base molding trim off of the walls. As I'm removing the last of the nails from the walls and the subfloor about noon on a Saturday, wouldn't you know it, bang, bang, bang from the front door. Yes, I say. Karen says, can you keep it down? I'm trying to have a pampered chef party. Yeah, sure. I promptly finished pulling or driving in nails and then proceeded to bang my hammer all over the subflooring like I was driving loads of new nails for the next hour, and made sure to turn on my stereo to the local hard rock station and turn it up for the next 4 hours. FYI, the first floor neighbors were already blaring some great mariachi music. They did this every Saturday and Sunday as they cleaned their condo from top to bottom. We then rented a hardwood floor nailer that, in addition to the compressor noise and to loudly driving a nail into the flooring and the subfloor, also had to be struck with a large dead blow hammer. Bang, bang, bang. It took us 2 to 3 days to install the coffee-colored bamboo hardwood flooring in the great room, and we were sure that it was driving Karen absolutely batty. We ended up installing an awesome tile inlay down the hall, had tile running from the front door to the master bedroom, along the great room side of the divider wall, tile in the dining room, kitchen, and both bathrooms. We got the base molding on, more like nail gun and compressor fun, and caulked. The new floors looked amazing, and the bonus was, every time a hard shoe, like my daughter's favorite Sunday shoes she wore everywhere, every day, or high heel, my wife chose to learn how to do everything in 4 to 6 inch stilettos during this time, struck the floor, it was like the impact echoed through our perfect floors. All this was due to a neighbor complaining. It was also in preparation to sell our condo as we'd grown out of it by this time. We sold it within 1 month of listing at $160,000. During closing, the real estate agent for the new owners told us that the floors absolutely sold this place. We also sold at the very top of the real estate boom, right before the real estate market crashed. We later learned from some of our neighbors that within 9 months of us selling our condo, the second floor entitled neighbors moved out and they sold their condo for $30,000 less than we had, and they took about an $8,000 loss and sent a letter of complaint to the HOA stating that their condo was unlivable because of the noise from our incredible floors. Oh my goodness, this is nuclear. Like, they cost them $8,000 of a loss selling real estate. And the funny thing is, this Karen who thought that she could just rule with the HOA behind her back would just go to OP and say, yeah, screw you, you're making too much noise. The HOA stood by OP in an amazing turn of events. We never see this, do we, ever on this channel or in life? And then she just loses. There's no other way to say it, but she just lost. Now, I do want to say that I hope OP was actually respectful with the subwoofer. Those things can get loud, but you know what? When Karen got set off, OP said, forget this, I'm done. We are increasing our property value, getting this nice flooring in, and then we're moving out of here saying, see you later, Karen. Have a good day. Well, Karens will never have good days. It's true, they can't, especially HOA Karens. Let me know what you think as well. You know it's going to be good when it is some HOA revenge posted by HOA One Throwaway. Since I've seen a few posts lately about out of control HOAs, I figured I'd add my 2 cents to the fray. My family and I used to live in a fairly upper middle class neighborhood that had an HOA. The HOA seemed pretty mellow and dedicated to their original purpose and intent, which was maintaining property values. As these things usually happen, a few new people got voted in, and things started getting a bit more OCD and militant. Here are a few examples. We had to throw away our basketball hoop because the backboard was opaque and the new requirement was glass backboards only. We got a ticket because my dad forgot that Monday was Memorial Day and he put the trash out. Of course, trash collection had been pushed back to Tuesday, so we got a fine for having the trash can out overnight. We went on vacation for a week and the grass got a bit longer than usual, but nothing unreasonable. Got threatening letters and a fine. We weren't allowed to have cars parked on the street for any reason. And my biggest pet peeve was that anyone under 18 had to be accompanied to the pool by their parent. My 17-year-old self wasn't too fond of having to get my mom to come bake in the sun anytime I wanted to go for a swim, nor was she. I was on a Navy JROTC field trip to a naval base that I will leave unnamed for anonymity reasons, and I stumbled upon what I still regard to be one of my greatest ideas. I was in the Navy Exchange, basically Walmart for Navy personnel, looking at some of their surplus stuff when I came across an ejection seat dye marker. These are those very powerful dye markers that are attached to ejection seats so that in the event of a water landing after ejection, the pilot can be found easily, floating in the middle of a huge patch of green dyed water. So I bought it for $8, which is a bargain at any price, and then I took it home. One night, after the HOA instituted an unenforceable 10 p.m. curfew for adolescents under 18, I took a little stroll over to the pool and tossed that bad Larry on in. Much to my delight and nervous horror, it worked exactly as designed. The whole pool was a neon green in a matter of a minute or two. Of course, I got the heck out of Dodge. The next day, as I drove past on my way home from school, I noticed that the pool was empty, but it still looked very, very green. In the ensuing weeks, I came to find out that the pool had to be drained, 660,000 gallons of water, and a professional power washing company had to be brought in to clean the pool basin concrete, which had absorbed the dye. Then the pool had to be refilled and retreated with all of the relevant chemicals. All told, I think it cost around $10,000 to the HOA. 2 years later, the HOA president was busted by the IRS and arrested for embezzling $70,000 worth of HOA funds. He went to the big house for a couple of years. And before anyone tears into me for wasting water, this was in the South, not California. We have more water than we want down here. Oh my goodness, I mean, this starts innocent, right? You owe a little prank, $8 worth of a prank that ends up ruining the pool, costing the HOA 10 grand, and then the president gets embezzling $70,000, busted for that, and goes to jail? I mean, this just escalated quickly, as Ron Burgundy would say. All over some stupid rules, like a glass backboard, really? Come on, I'm not surprised though, because this is HOA and Karens that we're dealing with. Let me know what you think. Great job, OP. HOA Karen threatens my pregnant wife, so I get her and her family arrested like this. Click the video on your screen. You do not want to miss the awesome fallout, and I'll see you in the next one.